Welcome to the Fearless Female Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Katerina. This is a podcast for women who are ready to break free from the 9-to-5 and confidently create a blended life that feels free, fulfilling, and fully aligned. Here, we're all about building a lifestyle that fits you, combining business, career, family, passions, and purpose into one beautifully unboxed life. Through mindset shifts, inspiring stories, and real conversations, you'll learn to live and lead fearlessly. Tune in for solo episodes and interviews with women doing life and business their way, boldly, creatively, and without apology. If you're desiring time freedom, financial freedom, and the freedom to live with purpose, you are in the perfect place. Hello. Welcome back to the Fearless Female Entrepreneur podcast. Y'all, I am once again recording this podcast from bed. I don't know why. It just is easier. It's more relaxing. And I'm actually pressed for time, so I figured I'd relax and record the podcast all at once, being efficient. But anyway, welcome. So today I'm going to dive into a topic we have talked about in the past on the podcast. If you've been in my world for a while, I talk about this topic a lot, and it is one of the biggest blocks for any human on the planet when it comes to like going out after a dream, doing anything in life. And we're talking about imposter syndrome. So we're going to talk about how to overcome imposter syndrome as a new or aspiring entrepreneur, as a fellow human in this world. It is just something we all deal with. And I'm going to go through why it comes up. I'm going to go through what triggers it, what exactly it is, and then give you some really, really strong, powerful tips to help overcome your imposter syndrome. Very easy, but very powerful. So I have struggled with imposter syndrome most of my life. I definitely have experienced it when running my businesses, becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a coach, becoming a massage therapist. And I will be honest, like I want an answer. I want to know, how do I get over it? How do I make these thoughts go away? I feel like we all go through it though. We all want to like type into ChatGPT or Google and find that magical secret recipe to just make our fears or doubts or limiting beliefs just fade away so we can just feel fearless and free. But, you can't. We can't. And it's a useful tool. And we'll talk about like how it is a protective mechanism that our inner wiring uses to protect us. But, if you're like me and you grew up watching, Bert and Ernie on Sesame Street, I love Sesame Street, you might have found yourself chanting like, one of these things is not like the other. And you probably find yourself chanting that when you're embarking on something new, when you're going out after a new job, or you get a big achievement, you go and write your book, you become an entrepreneur, whatever it is, you find yourself thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not like everybody else. Do I know enough? Why do I feel so different? And when when you're stepping out into some kind of new arena, an area you've, never hung out in before, you're doing things you've never done before, plus you're seeing all these other people doing the thing you're doing and they're doing it so confidently, it really can trigger this feeling that you're missing something, that you don't know enough, or you don't have what it takes, or, you aren't enough just being who you are. And you could feel like you're a fraud, you're a fake, you don't belong. And, ooh, somebody going to figure out that I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's that imposter feeling. I feel like I don't belong here. I don't belong in this activity or being this person. And that's a legit feeling because you've never been that person before. You've never done that thing before. And here's what I want you to know is that every single new entrepreneur, especially women, when starting out, this is what affects us. Imposter syndrome affects every single person. Even the most high achieving women struggle with imposter feelings. So you are not alone. And this like initial feeling like you don't know enough or you don't belong in this entrepreneurial space, it's going to trigger other fears and other doubts. And it can ultimately impact your confidence, your decision making, your progress, your productivity, your growth of your business, whether you ever fully step into it or not, whether you step into it, succeed, and then you freak out and you fail or you abort the mission. I'm not going to do this anymore, right? Yeah, it's going to trigger so much, not just the imposter feelings. It's like a domino effect. And you really might feel like you don't know enough to get started, that you need to take another course, you need to get a degree, you need to learn more in order to be ready and qualified to get started. I remember when I first started as an entrepreneur, I spent thousands of dollars on courses, coaching, everything. I was just trying to figure out, what's that? What am I missing? What do I need to know? I need to know more. I need to know more. I need to know more. You might, I see this with a lot of my clients, like feeling like their natural talent isn't enough. Like they don't have enough years of experience or schooling to be quote unquote qualified. And so it also impacts like how you see your current skills. So because you're so focused on imposter syndrome, you're not really focusing on like what you actually have, like all the qualifications, the skills, the knowledge, experiences that you do have to get started, that give you exactly what you need to create what you want to create in this moment. There's always room for learning more, but if you're focusing on the fears and the doubts and the imposter syndrome, you're not honoring all the things you do have. And this kind of leads to a domino effect of focusing on lack. And then you start to lead with scarcity mindset instead of focusing on the abundance mindset and the qualifications that you already have. And this directly impacts this kind of thinking that you get stuck into. It leads to the decisions you make and the actions you take, right? It's impacting what decisions you decide to make, your productivity, the actions you take. It can impact you can procrastinate instead of taking action. You can talk yourself out of something that you could have been actually going out and doing. And so your business success and growth really relies on your confidence and mindset to fearlessly take action and put yourself and your ideas and your product and your services out into the world. Like your business can't succeed without that. You need that confidence. You need that drive. And so it's so important to not let the imposter syndrome hold you back. So let's just talk about what imposter syndrome is. So if you don't know, or you might not even be aware that you have imposter syndrome, but the Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines imposter syndrome as a psychological condition that is characterized by persistent doubt concerning one's abilities or accomplishments, accompanied by the fear of being exposed as a fraud despite evidence of one's ongoing success. And so I always think of this episode, I don't know if you're Big Bang Theory fans, but there's this episode where Amy and Sheldon are up for the Nobel Prize along with these other two scientists. So Amy and Sheldon came up with this theory, and it's great. They're up for the Nobel Prize, and these other two scientists proved the theory, but they didn't have any idea what they were doing. They proved it on accident. And so they didn't really understand the theory. They didn't know really what it was. They proved it accidentally. And so there's this episode where they're at this event and they start to talk about, these other two scientists start to talk about how, sometimes you ever have that feeling like you're a fraud, that you don't really know what's going on, like you feel like an imposter. And Amy just blows up. She goes, it's imposter syndrome. You're talking about imposter syndrome and you can't have it because you are a fraud. You are a fraud, so you can't be an imposter. It's just the funniest episode because you can't be an imposter, right? If you really are a fraud and you don't know what you are doing. So you can't have imposter syndrome if you really don't know what you do. So if you do have imposter syndrome, you do know what you're doing. You do have what it takes. It's just your fear that you do not. So you might find that you have these thoughts like, what if they think I'm a fraud? What if I don't know enough? Oh, look at everybody else. They're more qualified than I am. You know what? I need to learn more. I need to take another course. I need to go back to school. Need to get another degree. Oh, I definitely need to be thinner, prettier, more articulate, more coiffed. I need to be good at public speaking in order to start my business or take, to succeed or to be taken seriously. Have you ever had those thoughts, right? Like those thoughts that I'm going to be judged. They're going to think I'm a fraud. They're going to find out that I don't know the secret. And I'm totally raising my hand because I've been a coach for 10 years and I still think that all these other transformation and mindset coaches out there, all these life coaches and business coaches, they know a secret. And I have not been privy to the secret. And so they're all out there doing their thing as mindset coaches and they know this secret and I don't. And I just constantly feel like I'm missing something, that I am just faking it. It doesn't matter that I have 10 years experience. It just always feels like they must know something I don't know. Right? It doesn't matter that I have 1 full year of coaching certification, a second career certification, I have 10 years experience. I still feel like at times everybody knows something and I don't know it. And that makes them more qualified than me. And, I saw this once and it really made me think, we really think that all these celebrities out there and these famous people and these highly qualified people, like, oh, they walk around with such confidence. They know what they're doing. And they struggle with imposter syndrome too. Like Jennifer Lopez admitted it, Emma Watson, Michelle Obama, Maya Angelou, Tom Hanks, Tina Fey, they've all admitted to struggling with imposter syndrome. These people that we admire and they stand on stage and they speak with such confidence and they're acting and everything is just perfect, right? We think they're so talented. They must feel like they know what they're doing. But even the most highly successful people and entrepreneurs and talented celebrities, they struggle with these thoughts too. And I feel like that should just make us more connected to one another, right? Let's all just accept that we are all human. And so there are 2 things that trigger imposter syndrome. And both of them or what we experience as entrepreneurs. So the first thing that triggers imposter syndrome is doing something new that you've never done before, or even getting to some next level of success or achievement. The other thing that triggers imposter syndrome is doing something that brings you in front of people where you're sharing your knowledge, your talents and gifts and experiences. So let's take the first one, about doing something new. And so our bodies, our subconscious, our nervous system, our energy, it's all there to protect us, right? It's there to make sure that we are safe, that we are not weak, that we know like a part of the pack, we need to be strong and seen as capable. And the known, the stuff in our life that we know is our comfort. It's safe to our bodies. Our bodies use our experiences and the stories we tell ourselves as evidence of what is safe and known. So our bodies rely on our beliefs, all the beliefs that we've embodied over time to determine what we're capable of and what's safe. So when we decide, hey, you know what, I want to do something different, like I want to go start a business, then our body, our mind, our nervous system, they all get together and they do this analysis on the safety of this venture. And it tries to match who we currently are and what we currently do and what we've experienced in the past with what we want to now create and do. So it's doing this analysis. It's trying to match. Okay, you've done this in the past. Does it prove that you can be successful doing this other thing? But being an entrepreneur is new, right? It's new to us. There is no safety of a corporate entity or established company. There's no evidence or guarantee that we're going to succeed. There's no guarantee we're going to make money. There's no paycheck every other week. And there might be still things you feel like you need to know before you get started, And as you start to look around you to quote unquote learn more from others, and you're seeing what other people are doing, your mind goes to comparing, right? Do we know that? Wait, they know more than us. Look at them. They know what they're doing. They're so qualified. Oh, they've been doing this they speak with such confidence and such knowledge, right? So your mind's going, oh wait, this is us. This is our story. This is who we are. This is what we've done in the past. Look at these people. They've been doing it. They're amazing. They're more qualified. And so your mind is doing this whole, it's looking for ways you're going to fail. It's looking for the gaps in the evidence of, definite success. It's this protection mechanism. It's like, okay, I want to build a safety net for you. I don't see it. Look, there's a gap there. There's a gap there. There's a gap there. This isn't safe. But all those thoughts aren't true, right? It's just your mind trying to figure out how you can do this without failing. And if it can't find that 100% surefire way that you can succeed, it's going to be like, ooh, let's back off this. This is you are so not qualified for this. And it's just there to protect you against failing and people judging you and you looking weak. It's not looking for how you will succeed or how you are qualified. It's in risk management mode. There's a risk and your mind and body want to prevent risk. And this is where number 2 comes in. This is where that second trigger comes in, where, as an entrepreneur, you're about to do something you've never done before, and you have to do it in front of people. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to be seen because people have to find you in order to buy from you. So as an entrepreneur, you have to be visible. You have to be seen. And you're being so vulnerable as you're sharing your knowledge and your skills and your experiences with the world. And that can just feel really unsafe. And once again, it's all because of this fear of judgment and fear of failure. And so your inner workings are, trying to protect you from that judgment and that failure by automatically saying, hey, you're not right for this. But if you think about it, your business success depends on people feeling like you know that you can help them. They want to feel that you are confident that you can help them. And so it depends on you believing you are qualified and knowledgeable. So when you start to put yourself out there and your internal warning system starts to show you how you are unsafe, it doesn't you're going to stop, right? You're not going to press play or whatever, record on Instagram Live when your inner system is like, oh, people are about to see you and you are not qualified. And it doesn't exactly know why it's unsafe, other than it feels like there's no proof that you can succeed, right? You haven't done this before, so it doesn't have an evidence bank. But the cool thing is, as you do succeed, you get to, build that evidence bank. You know what I mean? You're building the, look, proof. I went live on Instagram and nobody said anything bad, or, nothing bad happened to me. Nobody judged it. Nobody said anything. This is great. And it's interesting because once you do succeed and you start to succeed more and more, now it can actually feel like, so yeah, you're building the evidence bank that like, look at me, I'm succeeding. I could do this. But also your inner system is like, oh, now there's so much more to lose because you're known and people know you and it's working and you've been visible and you've been seen. And so then you're like, your new fear is that this is going to come crashing down. Right. And then that'll trigger imposter syndrome. See, you don't really deserve this achievement or this level of success or this visibility because you really don't know what you're talking about. And people are going to start to realize that you're a fraud. It's this vicious cycle. So the more you're seen and you're visible and you're vulnerable in the world, the more that risk management system is on guard to make you safe. They want you to be safe. Even when you're succeeding, it's always trying to prevent you from failing. So you might be wondering, okay, Katerina, this is all great, but how can I overcome imposter syndrome? Because now you've overwhelmed me and I can tell my inner system is all over the place. So I'm going to give you 5 tips to get you started. And I want to say this. It's going to take time to rewire your thoughts and build your confidence. And you're always going to be working on your imposter syndrome and your mindset as a business owner and as a human. But the work gets easier as you work through it and as you take action, even throughout the fear, as long as you're taking action. The more you learn how to work through your imposter syndrome and kind of build the tools and the tips to help you, and you have that toolbox of like resources to help you through those moments of imposter syndrome, the faster you'll get through things, through those moments of like, who am I to do this? But I will say it is going to take conscious effort. Mindset work doesn't happen unconsciously. It has to happen consciously. It takes time to rewire your mind. It takes awareness. It takes time to shift your nervous system. It might actually feel like brainwashing at first, to be honest, because your current natural state are these thoughts that you've embodied for so long. So it's going to take time to build the evidence and to shift your mind to how you are qualified and to feel qualified and to be the woman that is qualified. It's going to take a while to become that. So be patient with yourself. But eventually you will lead with how you know and how you know when you're ready. And yeah, to make it all come together. So here, let's jump into the 5 mindset tips to overcome imposter syndrome. So the first one, of course, is reframe your negative self-talk and silence your inner critic. So your imposter syndrome thoughts are negative thoughts. They're lack thoughts. Those thoughts may actually feel truthful because you've been feeding those thoughts for your lifetime or for a very long time. And you've been not just feeding it and focusing on those thoughts, but also you've used that mindset as a filter to see lack in everything. So you're finding evidence that you lack because that's the filter you have on. So this is where the conscious rewiring needs to happen. This is about reframing your negative thoughts and overcoming the self-doubt. And those thoughts aren't serving you. Really think about that. They are not serving you. They're not bringing you forward. They're keeping you where you are. They're keeping you held back. They are not, they're a fake safety mechanism. So like feeling like you aren't enough or you don't know enough, they're not the thoughts that are going to have you take action. They're going to have you sitting on the sidelines. They're going to hold you back. They're going to trigger all the feelings of inadequacy, the feelings of self-doubt, the feelings of anxiety, and low self-esteem. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. We don't want that, right? Like you're not going to get to that confident version of you doing what you want to be doing, having that business, serving those clients if you're sitting in the inadequacy, if you're sitting in the self-doubt. You need to notice your inner critic and change your inner critic. You need to flip the switch to the positive self-talk so you start leading with the positive mindset. So the first thing you really need to do is the most simplest thing, but also the hardest thing. You need to acknowledge those thoughts. You need to write them down. You have to grab your journal and write down all the reasons why you do not feel qualified to start and grow your business, or insert whatever venture you're going out with. Like maybe you're going out to move across the country, maybe you want a whole new career, maybe you want to go back to school, whatever it is, write down all those inner critic thoughts on why you're not qualified to do that, why you're going to fail. Brain dump it. Just all the reasons, all that comes up for you, the fears, the doubts, the beliefs, get it all on paper, face it. And then after you've done that, I want you to challenge those thoughts. I want you to sit down next to every single one of those and write, why are they false? Why are they not true? Some of it might be that you've heard it along the way from family, friends. It might be something that happened when you were in high school or elementary school. Somebody said something to you and it just stuck in there. But you have to know why they're false. If you don't feel qualified, write out why you are qualified. If you think, you should do, look, think, know certain things in order to succeed, write out who you currently are, what you currently do, what you currently look like, and how you currently think are enough. That they are enough for you to succeed. I want you to think about this too. So I want you to do all that, but I want you to remember that thoughts are neutral. The only difference between thoughts and beliefs is how they impact the decisions and actions you take. So you want to find the thoughts and beliefs that are going to trigger you to take action towards your desires, not keep you from them. And this is going to feel really foreign. I'm going to tell you, it does feel like you're brainwashing yourself. And your brain is going to want to argue with your new thoughts. Just keep writing. Every argument your little brain has, just keep writing. Then I want you to take the new thoughts and beliefs that you wrote down and create a list of positive affirmations that you're going to say every single day when you wake up. But also those moments when your inner critic brings up the imposter syndrome thoughts. You want to have them on hand. And it's totally okay if you have days when you feel like an imposter or that you aren't enough and you're afraid. This isn't like an overnight shift. This isn't a judgment on you if you still have those thoughts. It's a process. It's going to happen. You're going to backslide. But I like to tell myself it's just for today. For today, I choose to believe. Just for today, I choose to believe that I. And then tomorrow, you'll wake up and you'll choose to believe it for tomorrow. Just for today, I'm just going to believe these thoughts. And eventually you'll wake up and that new belief will feel so natural, but it's going to take time. And the goal is to lead with how you are qualified. So we're trying to train our brain to not think of how we aren't enough, how we're a fraud, whatever. We're trying to train our brain to lead with how we are qualified and to lead with your own abilities and accomplishments you've had throughout your lifetime as being evidence that you can do hard things and you can do new things. And those are the types of thoughts that your future self would lead with, right? That's already living that dream you're desiring. So the number two tip I have for you, focus on progress over perfection to build confidence. So your entrepreneurial journey is all about progress, not perfection. Write that down in your notebook, in your journal, progress over perfection. You are not going to get it right from the get-go. I hate to tell you. You're going to be learning and growing as you go. It's a journey. Life is a journey. So if you're going to judge every action you take and every action you make based on if it worked or if it was perfect, you're always going to feel like you don't know enough. You're always going to feel like you're just not there. It's not working. It's going to trigger all those negative self-talk and beliefs. But if you're judging every action by if it got you to that big goal, guess what? You're always going to feel like you're falling short. You're always going to feel like it. If those are the thoughts, like you're always going to feel like, oh, I took this action, I learned this thing. Oh, it didn't get me where I wanted. I'm a failure. I must not know enough. I must not have enough. I must not, whatever. No one is perfect. Nothing goes perfectly. It's only about whether you got closer to where you want to be and if you learned something valuable. Because every single action you take, even if it feels like a setback, it's always little steps forward. They're all little wins. And when you start to celebrate those little wins and milestones, you start to build the momentum and the confidence, which is why it's so important to see that you're moving forward, because then you can celebrate the little wins. And it's like this internal momentum that keeps you going. Everything you do is always moving you forward. And so when you acknowledge those small steps, it's like adding fuel to your system, fuel to keep going, keep moving forward. And it's building your confidence. And the more confidence you build, the bolder you'll get, and the more your desired audience will feel that confidence when you start to talk more confidently about how you help them. If you're sitting there worried about, oh my gosh, they're going to think I don't know enough, and then you're trying to talk to them and share that information with them and your skills and stuff with them, they're going to sense like, maybe she doesn't really have the confidence. Is she qualified? It doesn't matter. They're just feeling your energy. So before you judge yourself, or when, the imposter syndrome thoughts pop up, I want you to press pause and focus on what you've learned recently. List out all the things you've done that were out of your comfort zone, but that you did it. List all the new skills you've learned, all the ways you've experienced professional growth, personal growth, career growth. Make sure you're keeping track of just the little things, because it's all little bit things lead to big success. And starting a business, I'm going to tell you, it's the ultimate journey of personal development and professional development, because you have to switch your mindset. You have to grow. It's going to challenge you to be somebody you never thought you were going to be or even could be. Okay, so tip number 3 is surround yourself with supportive people. I cannot say this enough. If you've been in this space long enough, you've heard me say it before. You need to surround yourself with supportive people, people that understand your goals and what you're creating. Find professional help like a business coach or a mindset coach. Hello, I'm here. Engage in communities of small businesses or business owners. Get in a Facebook group of like-minded individuals, maybe in your industry or other entrepreneurs. You want to be around high achievers that can support you and help you with your mindset. Mindset's contagious. So when you're around confident people, you start to feel more confident. At first, you might not, but their confidence and their mentorship and it all just kind of like, it's contagious. And there's so much support out there for females, for women, for female entrepreneurs. So do some research. Find out what works best for you. Find some networking groups in your community. You want to have people to share ideas with, to share struggles with, so you don't feel isolated and stay too long in the negative thought patterns. One of the best ways to overcome imposter syndrome is to hear how other people have overcome imposter syndrome. Because you start to realize like, oh, they didn't realize they were capable of doing what they were doing, and look at them now, right? And it leaves that little opening in your mind, that little question like, oh, maybe these thoughts really are crap. Maybe these thoughts are really liars. Oh my gosh, because they lied for everybody else, and everybody else proved them wrong, and look at them, so maybe mine are lying to me too. So, you want to keep moving forward. So you want a place to go when you are feeling like held back and feeling like, your fears and doubts are like taking over and taking control. You want to go somewhere where you can get some help reframing what's going on in your mind so that you can keep moving forward. Tip number 4 is embrace your unique expertise. Y'all, I cannot say this enough. You may not feel like everyone. You may not feel like you have their knowledge and their skills, but that is your superpower. That's your strength. You're not supposed to be like everybody else. Every single person, even if they seem similar or creating a similar business, they're completely different. They have different goals, different whys, different visions, different skills, different experiences, perspectives. They've had different journeys. They have different visions for their life and what they want to experience. Your differences are what set you apart from others. It's what'll actually attract people that you're meant to help into your life. It's your differences are what's going to make the biggest impact in the world. And when that comparison-itis sets in, triggering imposter syndrome, shut that down by owning your story, owning your knowledge, how you do life and business. You're not meant to be like everybody else. You're not meant to have the same business or success. Everybody else's business and what they're doing in their life is none of your business. Pretend they don't exist and just focus on you. This is where you get to embrace your expertise. You get to own your story in your business. You get to be proud of the unique skills you set and your own success and lean into that authentic entrepreneurship. I like to say, just stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Put the blinders on. This isn't about if you know enough or have enough. It's about what you know and who you are, your stories, your history, your why. Honestly, the overlying message is overcoming imposter syndrome as an entrepreneur is about you being okay being uniquely you. Being okay with who you are and who you become up until this moment so that you can step out and create what you want to create. And then you're going to become that person that has that. So embrace you. Really set that every day, grab your journal and write why you would hire you. Why would you be friends with you? Why would you watch your Instagram stories or your read your blogs or watch your videos? Why? Why would you do it? Why do you love yourself? Why do you love your knowledge and your gifts? When you can love your own expertise and honor yourself and your journey and all that you know and the talents and gifts that you have, other people, you then invite other people in to love you as well. Finally, the fifth tip, take action despite fear. Yes, you are going to have limiting beliefs and fears. They are inevitable. Imposter syndrome is inevitable. But the most important thing to do to counter your imposter syndrome is to build your confidence. And to build your confidence, you have to take action. Even when you feel like a fraud. Even when you're like, oop, I don't know the secret sauce. Everybody else knows it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still going to step out and do it. That's when you can quiet that inner critic. You're not only going to gain confidence by taking action, but you're going to get the clarity you need about your own qualifications and what you really want. You're going to gain so much clarity about what skills you want to highlight or hone, what gifts you want to share with the world, and what you truly want for your life and business. You'll prove what you're capable of by taking action. It's the only way. It's all about action over fear. And building confidence as an entrepreneur takes place in the action. It's stepping outside of your comfort zone and seeing what you're capable of. It's about taking action despite the fears and doubts. And this is all part of rewiring the thought patterns, right? You want to create new evidence of what you're capable of. And the only way to do that is to take action. So grab your journal and write down, what action am I going to take today that I have been so afraid of taking? So I'm going to add a sixth tip right now. The sixth tip that I have for you is visualize your future success. This is the most powerful action you can take, and that's to visualize your success. Can you really feel like an imposter if you can see yourself actually doing and achieving what is on your heart, right? Could you really feel like a fraud if you can actually see yourself doing it and prove that you can do it, right? Like seeing is believing, right? If your mind can see you succeeding and connect to how it feels, then you are proving to yourself that you're not, in fact, an imposter. But instead, you're someone becoming and evolving into who she desires to be. Your mind can't fear a future it has already seen and validated. If you can imagine yourself doing it, there's a part of you that somewhere deep down, it's in you and you can do it. And this is why I recommend visualizing who you want to become and what you want to be doing and what you want to achieve. This should be something you think about every single day. Every day. You want to set aside some time to visualize. Who is she? What is she doing? What's her confidence feel like? What is that future version of you a year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years down the line doing? And then you reverse engineer backwards, right? And then you figure out what you need to do to make that happen. Who you need to be, what thoughts and beliefs that future version of you is leading with every single day. Because she already knows she can do it because she's doing it. So she got over the imposter syndrome because she's not an imposter anymore because she's doing it. I created the perfect visualization for you. After this episode, scroll down to the description. You can also go to my website, katerinakormas.com, and it's called the Future You Guided Visualization. I made this for me years ago when I didn't know what I wanted for my life. And I couldn't believe who I saw at the end of it, because you get to connect to that future version of you and what she is doing. I could not believe. And I still am working towards her. I am getting closer to what she was doing in that visualization. And if you want to know what that was, sign up for the free Future You Guided Visualization. And I send you an email and I share what my visualization was. And I'm still working towards her, but she's getting closer. And I was shocked because it was the one thing I feared I didn't have. I didn't have enough confidence. I didn't have enough knowledge. Who am I to ever do that? I would never even have considered it. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's what I want to be doing. I fear it, but I want to be doing it. And so I think of her every single day. And that's what I work towards. What would she do today to get closer to that? What would she believe about herself? What action would she take to get closer to doing that action that she was doing in the vision? So I want you to set aside time on getting started with the visualization and make it a habit. Connect to her each day so that you know the thoughts, beliefs, and actions to lead with. And then start curating your life and your decisions based on who you want to be. Not who you are right now, not what you fear in the moment, but who you want to be and what you want to be doing without any fear. So anyway, that is my visualization. That's my podcast episode for you today. Overcoming imposter syndrome. So I hope that this is very helpful for you. Come back if you need a little jolt of inspiration, a reminder of the tips. It is okay that you have imposter syndrome. That is normal, but you don't want it to hold you back. I don't want it to hold you back either. So take what you need today, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, lovely. I have something super special for you today. If you're sitting here right now knowing there's something more for you, if you feel like you're standing on the edge ready for your next chapter, maybe it's a new business, or maybe it's taking your business to the next level, maybe it's a new career or a loving relationship, it is time to discover what you really truly want so that you can finally take bold, aligned action to reach the goals that are closest to your heart and soul. So today I want to invite you to download the Future You Guided Visualization. This visualization will unlock any big dreams you might be subconsciously suppressing or maybe talking yourself out of, and the results are going to surprise you. This is a special visualization I created for myself a few years ago, and what I discovered while listening to it opened up big, huge dreams for me that are now finally becoming my reality. I hope you take the journey to get to know the future version of you, to tap into who she is, what she's doing in her life, and experience her next level confidence and joy. You can download the free guided visualization by clicking the link in this podcast episode description, and I can't wait to hear what you discover on your visualization journey.